In this video, I want to talk about the dumbest shit I've ever done at university. And I've done a lot, but the dumbest thing that I have ever done was back in my second year. And I was taking organic chemistry because I wanted to get into medical school. And so I was like, okay, well, I better get a biochemistry degree. And at the time, you needed to do a biology or a biochemistry or some sort of science degree to get into medical school because of the prereqs. It just made the most sense. Later on in my career and my university career, you didn't need them. You just needed like English, which was really dumb, and it sucked because I ended up taking science, and that happened to be the hardest, apart from possibly engineering, the hardest degree you could get to get good grades to actually have a good application for medical school. So in second year, I was kind of a degenerate. I did a lot of bad shit. I smoked a lot of cigarettes. I like to party. I like to do bad things. And by bad things, I mean, I like to get in a little bit of trouble, keep it low key, skip classes, sleep in, do all the stuff that everybody thinks they like to do. On top of that, I like to go clubbing because I was 19 years old. And in Canada, a 19-year-old can party, at least where I was. And so when that happened, I wasn't cool enough to get a fake ID when I was 18. So at 19, I was like, I'm going to hit the clubs. And if you go to university or college anywhere, there will be a Thirsty Thursday. And that means you basically get to go to the club, all your friends get super lit, pregame, go to the club, have as much fun as possible, and then forget everything, and then have to live life on the next Friday. And when you're younger, hangovers aren't so bad, but still, I used to do this a lot. I would go every Thursday. And the thing is, why I was so stupid was because I would take this organic chemistry class, and it was Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 8 a.m. And you're already kind of starting to see what's going on here. Friday, Thirsty Thursday, Friday, 8 a.m., organic chemistry, probably the hardest class that I was taking at the time. And on Friday mornings, we would have a quiz at the end of every single class. And it was actually, and I knew it was coming, right? I knew it was coming, but I was just like, I know this shit enough where I could probably pass it. I wasn't really so much caring about high grades or anything like that. I was pretty cooked. I'm not going to lie. I was kind of a bad boy, and not bad boy like in a cool sense. It's like, as in like, I was just dumb. Like I just like straight up did not do anything that was good for me. Like I was just doing bad shit, and not like criminal activity, but like not stuff that was good for my health, not stuff that was good for my school. I was just having fun, and that's what people do in university. And so if you can kind of just like learn not to do what I did, or at least the way I did it, and actually try and balance and prioritize school, you'll be totally fine. So after that, I went to, well, Thirsty Thursday was coming up, obviously. I know everybody's excited. Everybody likes going to the club. Especially when you're 19, and then, I don't know, maybe make the move on the girl that you see in class and shit, because, you know, everybody's going. I lived in a college town. That was kind of the thing that happened, but also just getting drunk with your friends is really fun. And any excuse to smoke more cigarettes was honestly the best thing ever at the time. And so I went out, had a fun blast one night. This was probably more than midway through the semester, and I got home at 1:30, pretty early, to be honest, considering how far the club was from where I was staying on campus. And I started to have a panic attack. I started to be like, holy shit, what am I doing with my life? I just like, you look in the mirror and you're like, your eyes are like kind of crossed and you're like, what am I doing with my life? Like I'm paying so much fucking money to come here. I'm taking loans out so I can do good, so I can get to medical school. How am I gonna get into medical school being this fucking stupid and this belligerent all the time? I don't know. At the time it didn't matter, right? I didn't care. It was whatever. I was like, I can do it. It doesn't really matter. They won't look at my first year. I'll just do better the next time. I'm like, I'll ace this organic chemistry test. First of all, I wasn't acing anything at the time, but I was like, I got this. And like I said, this was the hardest class I had to take. So I get home 1:30. I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, totally fucked up. Back in the day, I could just drink so much, and it was just like I don't want to be proud of it, but I was just like impressed. And I was like, holy shit, I need to study for this thing. And so I got my book out, I opened my laptop, and I started doing practice questions. I started writing notes on organic chemistry. I started reading the textbook, things I never did the entire semester. And I started doing them at like 2 a.m. I had class at 8 a.m. and I started doing all these questions. I started doing I felt like Rain Man at the time. I was like achieving flow state. I was drunk. I had some music playing in the background, and I started just like, I was writing, I swear to God, like this big, like every word was like taking up like 3 lines in like loose leaf paper. And I'm like, I get this. I understand organic chemistry. I can't believe this shit. Like, I'm going to ace this test. And so like after a couple hours of just like studying, or just like, or what seemed like a couple hours, might've been just 5 minutes of me just scribbling on a piece of paper, I was like, all right, you know what? I'm just going to hit the hay, and I'm just going to wake up, and I'm going to go to class, sit in the class, and then ace a quiz. And that's going to be that. And you know what? I saved myself, and I still got to go to Thirsty Thursday. I got to have fun. I got to see my friends. I got to get drunk. I got to do all the stuff that you want to do at university. And so the next day, my alarm doesn't go off. 8 a.m. class. I live on campus, so it's close. Like I can just like rip to class in probably 5 minutes. I just got to run. But did I do that? Absolutely not. I woke up at like 8:15, and I was like so fucked. I was like, I can't believe this is happening to me. Like I cannot go to class right now. But I'm like, I can't not do this quiz, or else I'm gonna get even further behind. And so 8:15 rolls in. Each class is 50 minutes long, 50. That leaves you 10 minutes to get to your next class on campus. So I woke up at 8:15. I got up. I like hammered whatever I had to do, and I left my house by 8:30. I got into class, and this quiz was just at the end of class. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes for this quiz. And I get there at, I think it was like 8:38. And I walk in, and everybody's already doing the test. And I just came in, and I look totally disheveled. You know, like I look terrible. I look like just like the biggest dumbass walking into class. And everybody looks at me, and I just like walk across, and I'm late. I was obviously not there in the class. And I walk up to the teacher in the front of the class, and I'm like, can I have a quiz? And he gives me one. And I like go and find a seat like in the back of the class, because that's the only spot that was available at the time. And I start doing the test, and I start doing it, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure I just did this shit last night. And if you know anything about organic chemistry can look a lot alike, and there can be a lot of differences in the little puzzles and formulas that you're doing. And so I started doing the quiz, and time's coming up. You know, you only had 10 minutes to do it. I was already late, and people had 15, whatever. It's not that big of a difference. I made it at least for the quiz, but I look like a complete dumbass for me missing the entire lecture before. So I went up to the teacher, I grabbed my test, I started writing, and I was like, okay, I'm feeling pretty good about this. People were already handing in their tests when I was finished, and I was like, okay, I'm finished too. And there was still time to spare, which either means I'm a fucking prodigy or I'm the biggest dumbass in the class. And I'm going to let you guess what happened. I go up, and I feel pretty terrible, but I'm like, I feel confident enough that I did pretty well on this quiz. I went up to the front, gave the professor my quiz. He looked at it, looked at me, just gave me the most dirtiest look ever, like the dirtiest mugshot ever. And I was just like looking at him, and I'm like, thanks. He's like, no, hold on. And I was like, oh, okay. And he literally marked the quiz right in front of me. He marked the quiz right in front of me. He didn't do that for anybody else, but he did it for me. And he marked the quiz right in front of me. He was looking at it. He was like, kind of like, you know, hinting that maybe I knew some shit. Maybe I didn't know some shit. And he gave me the test back, and I got a 4 out of 10. A 4 out of 10, man. And I just like, I can laugh about it now, but holy shit, dude. I was like still drunk, and I'm looking at him, and like, I'm the fucking smartest man alive. And he's marking my quiz, and he knows how fucking stupid I am. And he's just like 4 out of 10. And he just like showed it to me, and then he like just like put it in his pile. And I'm like, fuck. And I just walked off. I didn't tell anybody about that. I knew people in the class, and I just didn't tell anybody about that. But that is the dumbest thing I've ever done. And I wish I could say that was my turning point, but no, I still acted pretty fucking stupid for a solid year and a half after that. I couldn't do it. I couldn't balance the partying and the school. And until I could do that, until I started prioritizing my school, was I able to prioritize, or not prioritize, but get better at balancing the school and the partying. So let this be a lesson to you, as into never think you know anything, right? You never think you know, like, or like assume you're going to do good on something just because you have like this epiphany that like, oh, everything's starting to click. And if you don't put in the work, you don't actually deserve anything. So me failing that quiz was exactly what I deserved. It is one of the best stories and the funniest things that ever happened to me now that I think about it. But I was so embarrassed at the time. And if people could just like understand and see what was going on between me and him, like luckily he didn't expose me and wasn't like, this guy got a 4 out of 10. No, but everybody knew that I was just the stupidest kid there. And this is a class like 100 people. And I just showed up and went through the front. Everybody saw me. And I probably got the lowest grade in that entire thing. And it was embarrassing. It's funny now, but I do not want you to do this. I do not want you to drink and show up to classes late, do poorly in tests, and waste your parents' money, waste your own money, waste your loan money on this shit. Like if you're gonna go to school, you have to prioritize school. Prioritize your academic success. And once you can do that, then you can fit in the partying. So another recommendation is don't go to Thirsty Thursdays. They're fun, but if you got something on Friday, don't even think about it. Save your clubbing, your partying for the weekends. That way you have at least a day to recover. And ideally, you finish all the things that you need to do before you have that hangover day, because you're not going to get shit done that next day. So yeah, that is the dumbest thing that I've ever done that I want to say on this channel so far, in terms of how I later transitioned to a 90% 4.0 GPA student from bottom of the barrel type shit. So I hope you learned a lesson from me. I hope you like that story. Don't do the same thing that I did. Like, subscribe. Always remember to rep the set. I'll see you in the next one.